Hello. If it's April of 2020 or any time thereafter, you are probably wanting some extra tips and tricks about how to keep your husband well during this season. And I'd like to help you with those. My name's Amanda Dumas, and I've been using doTERRA essential oils. It's been about 5 years now, and during that time I have learned a lot. I'd like to pass some of it on to you so that you don't have to have like as tricky learning curve as I had. So bit of background, my husband is the son of a pediatrician. He tends to be much more on the conventional medical side, and I am the daughter of a midwife, and so I tend to be a bit more on the alternative health scene. And over the 12 years that we've been married and the 5 children that we've raised, there have been a lot of circumstances that have called for creativity and courage on my part to be able to feel like we're all doing what we feel comfortable with in terms of being empowered enough to treat issues when they are small so that we don't have to go to the hospital, which I'm thankful it's there. I'm very, very thankful. But today I want to tell you, I have actually like 12 tricks plus a beware that I want to tell you. The first set has to deal specifically with those husbands who just don't really take a lot of the self-responsibility for their health. And that means that you, as sweet wifey, are going to have to do it for them. So a couple things, the 4 things that you can do in these situations are, number 1, I would say use this diffuser, right? So not this one specifically, obviously, but the idea being he breathes, right? So when he's home, he's breathing while he's there. And so you're going to be able to get some benefits into him, even if he may not necessarily like what it is, or if he's not always in the same room as you. There's going to be benefits from having this in your home. Do not dismiss this idea thinking like, oh, well, essential oils, I use the really good doTERRA quality ones, and so I'm obviously going to want to use them like topically and internally because they're that good, and I shouldn't be diffusing them anymore. No, during this time you should, because you want to do everything you can to keep his immune system boosted. I'm speaking from a place of my husband is an essential worker, and so he does go out during the day for work, 4 to 5 days a week. Okay, so diffuser are awesome. Don't forget you can run it in the morning as well. That does actually help them get up sometimes, like giving them some extra peppermint or wild orange to get them moving in the morning is also going to help. But the OnGuard, again, specifically, or any of the ingredients in OnGuard, like eucalyptus, adding some of that to the diffuser can create a very pleasant home environment in the first place. So secondly, I would go ahead and make up what they call Flume. If you don't know about Flume yet, get friendly with it. It stands for frankincense, lemon, oregano, OnGuard, melaleuca. And Flume is fantastic to make into a roller bottle. You're going to make it 5 frankincense because it's a pricey oil, and 5 oregano because it's a spicy oil, kind of hot. And then the lemon, OnGuard, and melaleuca, you'll just do 10 of each. That's going to end up resulting in 40 drops of the pure doTERRA essential oil, plus all the rest fills with fractionated coconut oil. Once you have that roller top on and you've created this becomes your friend to smear on everybody plus yourself, because you have to do this for yourself too. And this is awesome because very, very gently and openly, you don't have to even sneak. Just rub this on the back of, on your fingers and be like, hey honey, I'm gonna put some stuff on you while I would give you a kiss. And so you either go up his shirt if it's untucked, or my husband, unfortunately, he's a tucker with a belt. So for him, I go down the, down the neckline or down the collar. Again, try to make this a pleasant experience with being sure not to like choke too hard where it's like pulling back as you're putting your arm way down there. This really does seem to benefit. It shows a lot of extra care. My husband responds very well to this And even before this time, like, so now over the past 5 years, he's gotten a little bit more into essential oils, but in the beginning, no. But he would let me put something like this on. He just wouldn't take responsibility to do it himself. Okay, so that's my second trick, is having that Flume roller available. And again, small amounts more often throughout the day equals a bigger impact than if you just do a lot all at one time. So that's how you want to really get that immune system boosted. Third, most heavily dependent on your shoulders, is massage. Offer the guy a massage. If he's the kind of person who isn't doing a lot for his health in the first place, he's going to have a lot of aches and pains. Take advantage of that by offering to let him lay at the corner of the bed, right? So like, here's the long ways and the foot of the bed, and he puts his head here, with possibly like his chin or something like that hanging over, and then you have access through the other sides to be able to reach his spine and do whatever you need to do for his, lower back, rotator cuff, whatever. And you're going to use basically the same essential oils that we have already mentioned, the OnGuard, lemon, melaleuca, oregano, frankincense. These are all awesome. If he does have aches and pains, I could tell you to add in a little of the deep blue or some peppermint, because that causes some cooling sensations there as well. But my number one tip for the massage is make sure you have a carrier oil of some kind. That could be coconut oil, it could be almond oil, jojoba, whatever it is, but having that as an initial layer on top of the back before you put the other essential oils on is going to do two things. One, it's going to keep the essential oils in the tissues near that spinal cord, and we want the spinal fluid near the spinal cord to have those essential oils kind of sitting around in that area, because pathogens tend to congregate in spinal fluid, and so that's a really good way for us to make sure everything's working really well. Also, the bottoms of the feet, if he's willing to take his shoes and socks off, and so, well, actually, if he's on the bed, he's going to do that anyway, right? So smear a little on the feet as well. So those are the two things for a regular massage. My tip number 4 is actually very closely related to tip number 3, and that is about Symphony of the Cells. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't have enough time to tell you about it, but symphonyofthecells.com would be the place you'd want to go to get this handy dandy $12.95 booklet sent to you. It has some amazing protocols, not only for infectious disease, but also things related to overall respiratory health and maintenance of a good cardiovascular system, all sorts of things, including mama's hormones. We can use a little extra help sometimes as the days go by, and they kind of grate on our nerves a little bit. So I would say getting this book would be a great one. It's similar to a massage in that you are applying very specific essential oils in a very specific order, and it's all for a reason, and it's very scientifically based, but I can't get into it. symphonyofthecells.com, go see it. Okay, so those are my 4 tips for people who don't really take much responsibility. If you do have someone who is, kind of can be persuaded into doing what's good for them and doing a little bit on their own, I would say introducing the capsule of Flume would be one of my number 1 tricks. So if you guys have seen these before, these are called veggie caps. You can order them on doterra.com, but of course Amazon or Vitamin Shop or places like that will have these empty veggie caps, and you're just gonna open them up, and very simply you're gonna put in, oh actually just kidding, you want to take your Flume, right? Because this Fluom is like a serious immune booster bomb. So you're going to put in like 4 to 6 drops, bloop, 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 bloop. And you're going to want to put maybe a little bit of olive oil if you feel like it, or avocado oil, or something healthy that you think would be great. And then you'll just put the top back on. You're going to make up a couple days worth at a time. And you're going to have your husband take one of these in the morning. And if he will take like one with him at work to eat during lunchtime, that would be great, or after lunch, and then have him take one with dinner and one before he goes to bed. That would be if he actually thinks he has something going on. Even just twice a day, I would say 2 to 4 times a day is a great amount to take. So depending on what level of exposure he's at and how boosted he needs that immune system. Okay, so capsules are great for people who are slightly compliant. You can also do what my husband refers to as down the gullet. Now, this one, he actually told me that he prefers this. And this is just the plain old OnGuard, and he likes this specifically when he has a cough. I know everybody these days, coughing is a big deal, right? So when you have a sore throat, OnGuard down the gullet, that just means like straight down the throat, like bypass the tongue if you can. You just let it gets all hot and burny. But oh, if you have a sore throat, it feels like heaven. It numbs it out so great. You will find yourself doing this many times after you try it if you have a sore throat. So that's another really awesome tip for you. Also, don't overlook magic honey, which is the simpler version. No, I shouldn't say that. It's the mild version. How about that? Because the OnGuard can be, it's got some potency to it. When it's in the form of magic honey, can I give you guys a super quick recipe? I need to do a YouTube video specifically to answer all your questions about magic honey, but basically, if you have ginger and turmeric in your kitchen cabinet, and you also have your doTERRA oils, hopefully you all do, frankincense, myrrh, lemon, and just kidding, frankincense, myrrh, lemon, and OnGuard, pardon me. Then, also you have to have black pepper, but that's in every kitchen cabinet as well too. But the only thing you're going to need to get is what's called acerola powder. And acerola powder is ground up cherries. And so it's a really high bioavailable way to get vitamin C that's not synthetic. So you can usually find that on Amazon or, Vitamin Shop or something like that. And it works better than the synthetic versions of just what's listed as vitamin C. So I do recommend that. Adding those together into magic honey, it is so easy, like easier than the capsule. Easy, like I get my kids to take this way easy, because after you stir everything in, you guys notice it kind of separates just a little bit. So you got to stir it all in. That's the turmeric and ginger and stuff like that. And you just take a spoonful. It's lovely. It leaves a beautiful feeling in your mouth and your throat. And it definitely makes you feel like you are like boosted. So I love that. Also, if your husband is slightly compliant, he may really enjoy the OnGuard B Blitz. These are so cool because they're super small. They're like Tic Tac size. They actually have like a fourth of a drop of the OnGuard essential oil in them. So I have some really great stories about, I guess to simplify, my friend's husband had warts, and he was trying to stave off from getting a sickness that my friend and the daughter had. And so he was setting his alarm and popping one of these B Blitz, OnGuard B Blitz, every 2 hours. So on his phone, it would ding and he would take a B Blitz, and then 2 hours later do the same thing. Now the guy's warts ended up going away completely, and they had previously spent thousands of dollars having them burned and lanced and all those things, cold, whatever. So there's a lot to be said for boosting the immune system from the inside out. And you guys may see some other benefits when you guys are doing long-term use of OnGuard. So I definitely highly recommend that. I feel like I should also say 2 more things that might be easy for people who are slightly compliant. This is a fantastic hand mist, a sanitizer. Really great because it does have the alcohol in it that it needs, but it's from an apple seed extract, and so it doesn't dry or like affect the other systems of the body as negatively as just rubbing alcohol does. And so you get the benefit of the killing power without having the other disruptions in your system for those. So that's awesome. Also consider, and this is something my husband has recently started doing, he likes to take a spray, especially if he feels like he has a sore throat, or during times like these, it doesn't seem that weird to be able to take something out and give a squirt, almost like it's a breath freshener. But for him, I have the OnGuard lemon and melaleuca and frankincense in his little mouth squirt bottle. And that one just has the water and some fractionated coconut oil, and that's something that he feels like he can puff into his mouth, and it makes him feel good. It makes him feel like he's fighting off whatever has just been like passed to him. So very, very good. Okay, so those are for people who are mostly compliant, and we'll do a little bit. Now, if he is like major compliant and he'll do whatever you tell him, like this is the guy who will eat whatever you cook for him, mine won't. But if he's my dad is this guy. So if you have one of those guys and you're like, look, this is what you're gonna do, because I'm not gonna take care of you when we go to the hospital. Well, you know, whatever you have to tell him. I don't know what you guys do, because that's not my world, but I know that my dad is able to do this. He takes the drop of Flume, 2 drops of Flume, several times a day. He puts it under the tongue. Now, the reason he does under the tongue is because that is the quickest way into the bloodstream, so very beneficial. Here's my super tip. Make sure your husband doesn't speak or even hum for that 60 seconds while it's under his tongue. The reason why is I've often done this, and then like my kids will ask me something, I'll be like, you know, and that just somehow causes it to like go all up in your mouth, and it doesn't taste good. It's got that oregano in it and all that kind of stuff, right? So keep the water after 60 seconds. You can go ahead and chug, clear everything out, but you almost don't even taste anything if you've been able to keep your tongue still. Okay, so that's for the super compliant people. Now, my super tricky ones. Here is a tip that you may not have expected. It's body butter. I know, weird, right? So, but my husband, way a long time ago, ended up figuring out chafing that occurs very often in Florida because it's hot, and if you're not exercising, you're just going to watch football, you're gonna get like between the thighs some chafing and redness and all that kind of stuff, or under the arms, things like that. He used to think that talc was the answer because the idea was he should keep it dry. So when I came along and I introduced some like more natural things into his world, he ended up realizing, no, it's actually, you have to keep it moist. So I showed him coconut oil, and he's like, this is the bomb. So now he puts coconut oil on every day. And what do? Use it to my advantage. I put essential oils in the coconut oil, and I whip it because it makes it seem extra luxurious. Have you guys ever tried whipping coconut oil? It's amazing. Just get it in a bowl with your little blender kind of like thing. So luxurious. And of course it, you know, really gets the essential oils mixed up in there too. I tend to do not necessarily the immune boosting ones for OnGuard, but I do this particular body butter for him to help the rate at which his blood flows, and to help encourage healthy responses for his cardiovascular system. And so that is one super tricky trick. The other super tricky trick is to put it in his oatmeal or other kinds of cooking that you're doing. If you're making brownies, OnGuard actually goes really good in those. Oatmeal, like I said, specifically is also really good. Do make sure to put it in the coconut oil portion or butter or whatever it is that makes your oatmeal creamy. That's where you want to add in the essential oil as well to really help it kind of like mix and not be overly hot. And then my one beware that I have for you is if you're going to put it in his drink, tell him. Because if you're going to try it in his coffee, or even adding like some lemon essential oil or something like that in some one of his drinks, well, lemon not so much, but like peppermint or OnGuard or cinnamon, those ones tend to be a little bit more spicy, and it's going to end up making like a hot spot on his lip. And he's going to come back to you, and he's going to kind of make you feel bad about it and be like, are you trying to burn my face off, kind of a thing. And you'll feel bad, and then you'll be like, I should have listened to Amanda Dumas, right? So there's my tricks and my bewares, and I hope those help you during this season. If you need more tricks specifically, I'm thinking about the one for making capsules. I have a YouTube video. If you go to Amanda Dumas and look for the one that's called Top Secret Capsule Trick, because actually my husband hasn't watched that episode yet, and so he doesn't even know what all I put into those capsules that he takes. So that's pretty fun too. Okay, so subscribe there, or you can also look me up at Enamored with Nature Oil Education. That's a Facebook group. And if you don't already have some essential oils and you're not working with somebody, and I would really, really like to help coach you to be an awesome healer in your home and take some of these things and be courageous and try stuff out and just feel amazing that you are handling wellness for not only husband and family, but yourself. And it's such a great feeling. If you need help doing that, I want to be the person to do that with you. You can send me an email, enamoredwithnature@gmail.com, and that is the enamored that's spelled the American way, not the O-U-R-E-D of a British way. So it's ENAMOREDWITHNATURE@gmail.com. Okay, have a fantastic rest of the April 2020, and use these tricks to keep your husband better than he's been in his whole life, and have fun doing it, and be super courageous. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.